Next up, criminology uses of the M100. That sounds fun. Let's go. Yeah, sure, this is getting fun. The last one with the espionage bit, that was weird. Everyone just kept pushing the button over and over, and we had a big psychic open network orgies. I really am getting used to these sound file advertisement spaces. I can almost guess when we're going to get the next one. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
An actual reconstructed first-person shooter with all the psychological voices in the head. Say hello to my little help. Experience Eric Harris, James Holmes, and Muhammad like you've never experienced them before. Experience the walk of Muhammad. Experience every single day before the attacks have come. Experience the ARAS Century 100 Theater as we take you on a forensic psychological journey with the feedback control loop of customizable artificial neural networking as we choose the internal audio profiler. Continue to the next room as we adjust your personality bandwidth with real applied behavioral analysis and gene environmental relational conditioning, and change your environmental perceptions to change your behavior.
Damn, dude. That's screwed up. My advisor's already given me a cognitive profiler choice. They're letting me choose hypothetical voices of Eric Harris. I have 10 to choose from. Let's see, Bill Gates and Paul Allen's Secret Research Lab voice prompter. Whatever the hell that is. Oh, wait. It also has Russian spy punishes Wayne Harris for violating nuclear arms embargo at Patterson Air Force Base. That sounds screwed up. Look at this one. Dumb hooker with satanic coven screws with dude for money. All right. I choose the Holmes case, and this one has a voice of GRU spy works against DARPA budget for parapsychology liaison to Keith Alexander, rogue psychic warfare department of Manchurian programmer. Oh, and I also got dumb hooker chick with Mel Dingy and satanic coven screws with dude for money. Mine's a little different. Satanic coven or GRU spy. Choices. Maybe this whole thing is a Manchurian think tank. You know, we go to Virginia Tech next, and we walk on the campus where Cho started his school shooter behavior assessment at Dietrich Hall, the M7 Ingram grid space. What are you talking about? The Manchurian candidate who wanted fame. The simpletons in the behavioral analysis. You couldn't grasp him as an actual Manchurian from Korea. Do these stereotyping detectives really just read a book on behavioral profiling and make a determination they have to affix to their beliefs as unchanging, the world around them? I guess so. This is probably too complicated. Dude, are we going to come out the same? Heck, we'll probably leave tonight and go on some cave quest. Oh, all right, we're in the room now. Now what? You've seen CSI, NCIS, Magnum P.I., The $1 Billion Man. None of these shows can prepare you for what you're about to see, ladies and gentlemen. You're about to be ruled by augmented reality and reconstructive forensics of 3 cases of mass murder. Did I say mass? Did I say mass? Mass murder? And a Russian spy operational control den. Please select one of the 3 cases and your mission statement on first-person shooter and central nervous system augmented handling of proxy assassin Hitman 5 as we analyze the feedback circuitry of behavior modification by adjusted synaptic weights. I'll choose the Harris case. Holmes. I'll choose Holmes. You agents of the cybernetic detective investigation will have to reconstruct a feedback loop that takes the output of the target minds of modification and finds the feedback isolationism process of what drove them to their crimes. The voices you will be hearing are guesstimations of the theoretically impossible to the theoretically conceivable, from high-tech weapons broadcasting from a Moscow signal and an ELF technology to a microtransistor embedded in the nerves of the assassins. This not quite yet into the neurocybernetics, but as we get closer to the final event tonight for neurocybernetics, it is a must. Then you're going to find the traits under the assumption of the what if they had a smaller M100 or Google Glass or augmented reality on them while committing the crimes, then track out their behavior by those assumptions, forensic uses, tracking the reactive memory training process and the neurocybernetics principles of augmented reality. By the time phrenology changed our understanding of how man's head shaped, indicated his intelligence to the very creation of psychological profiling, the word forensic psychology had its very defined and structured meaning. But today, with the help of augmented reality, we're going to change the way we view mental health and perceptual differences between people as we look into forensic criminology and the side of augmented reality technology. Come follow us as we walk through the events of James Holmes' life, Eric Harris and Muhammad Atta, and when he was nominated for the Manchurian programming, and listen to the GRU voices. The ideas and images you are about to see will change your mind forever. What the World War III of invisible bandwidth is really about, and how one generation can be augmented in both genetics and neurogenetics to have an advanced telepathic gene marker as we emulate telepathy warfare with augmented reality. One generation from now, you and your children may be inferior to the breeding game of an elite fascist overthrow of the government you fight for. All it takes is one generation. Now let's set the stage, some background as you put your visors on, and as we have a guided tour through James Holmes' nomination process, starting from the OPCON relay, much like what we have here in our emulated Wolf Slayer. Our offices are relaying each of your visors, sight and sound, and we have the ability to use amines and other chemicals to increase your synaptic bridgeability. In this part, we are going to customize an ANN, or an artificial neural network from synaptic bridging, and how we are timing the feedback to control your memory through your path integration events as what we call node pathing event feedback by router tables to prove to you that customization of ANN software is one of the most important advancements in human perceptual software we will hear and see. Come with us on the amazing GRU Dark Knight, Katie Harris and Mujahideen Converted Augmented Reality Tour. Forensic psychologists have the dubious chore in this instance of tracking the Markov traits of certain cases to discern why a human modification program targets and isolates certain individuals and what motives exist. If in the cases of James Holmes to merely create the self-helping insanity cases of persons able to understand the neuroscience side of conditioning, or just the abstract notion of a research industry and super soldier programs seeking intellectuals to develop and reverse engineer from, who seek to test the control of their systemized feedback containment and isolationism. All visors on, starting augmented reality tours of the insane San Diego. This is a reconstructed dialogue from the OPCOM Wolf Slayer recording of advanced M100 used in James Holmes' visual cortical system as indicated by his mirror neuron damage in the inferior parietal cortex under an SP117 investigation with Colorado handling the functional magnetic resonance imaging for James Holmes. Hello, James. You're on a mission. We need to have you do what we say. Our offices are using a perfect matching algorithm here in the OPCOM Wolf Slayer, and we're going to be making a super soldier program. We want to realize it for DARPA. Do you want to be a super soldier, James? Like Superman or a comic book hero? Your family has had this 2 DARPA super soldier programs and affiliations with some cases. We're trying to stop someone from exposing a 9/11 plot. And I need to set precedents and use you to attack a single target. His name is... He lives in Colorado, and he is linked to a GRU crime group and Russian military intelligence group as a Israeli-Russian spy. For that reason, we're going to schedule the timeline of the Batman movie, just like Tim Burton had when he had started being a movie producer with Batman. Does that sound fun? First, let me explain to you a cybernetic control feedback loop in this context and Markov dependency. If per se, I have case 1, which bothers me, and in case 1, I have a search algorithm using artificial intelligence and an expert system to search for the best match to solve my problem, then what are my goals if I found you? To simplify this, a risk assessment of another case had no precedence, and the person in charge of it needed to control the case so bad on personal and emotional grounds, and having the full use of top-secret advanced programs to remedy the problem, that nothing was out of reach. Not even our DARPA Advanced Super Soldier program, James Holmes. So, in a perfect matching use of Hall's theorem, set of predefined algorithms based on suboptimal pathing, we had a little problem. We listed our problems we had to solve, such a document that we called MP Mars, which was used in enlistment of this other person, or Mars Military Auxiliary Radio Systems, which is the Defense Department radio service used in times of disaster. And we essentially used the cybernetics principle and feedback loops. Here's the progression, James. Our perp published this document in San Diego regarding an increased budget for parapsychology research in the Defense Intelligence Agency to track a GRU agent claiming that they had used some advanced technology. Here are the 5 pages of the legal risk file in SQL format that we matched you to. It's easy. James, you're part of an expert system, artificial intelligence feedback. There's billions of people on the earth, James. Think of it, how special you are to be reverse engineered. With billions of people on the face of the earth, James, you get to be special. You are part of a super soldier program now. And because of that, I'm going to isolate you. And you're going to do what the fuck you're told. And if I tell you to go to Aurora, you're going to go to Aurora. If I tell you to go move to the Fritz Apartments, you're going to move to the Fritz Apartments. You're going to do what we have you do, because we're controlling your memory now. First of all, now back to my issue. First of all, we had a problem with the case in expert systems, which, if you don't know what those are, we'll explain it. It's an artificial intelligence algorithm. Well, it's basically an artificial intelligence system that takes a set of procedural risk codes that we use to analyze problems, and then we feed it back. And then that's how we make our decisions. Computers making decisions for us. You are the result of a computer-made decision. Anyway, expert systems, reflexivity, and matching algorithms, which has become self-awareness algorithms in the artificial intelligence. You matched in a case to Mars because of some connection in your family's history to Mars, and it just happens to be that we think it's kind of funny. We're fighting this other case with the Military Auxiliary Radio System, and we just had you matched up there. You matched on the grounds of the Super Soldier program because of DARPA, your affiliations across your family there. So you pretty much have all the security parameters that I need in case there's any problems. So you fit what I call a top-secret research environment, which is really important for you to understand, James, because that gives me the ability to help you get to where you want to go. You want to work in neuroscience, right? I think I can get you to the top-level neuroscience schools in the country. Anyway, you matched the case to my Mars issue to combat my concern with military auxiliary radio system and expert system requirements of DARPA to control some other cases which will lead to an SDMI conspiracy promulgated by the GRU. Our target's address in this is in Aurora. You'll be relocated based on the families I have. This is a W-2 tax payment. And as you know, we plan these things based on what we call 10-base-10 feed-forward neural networking analysis, or logic of using feed-forward neural networking and targeted attacks. In any event, James, everywhere you go and every place that you go over the next couple of years, from the time this was published here in San Diego, everything that comes into your head is going to be reverse engineered, calibrated, so that we can handle you to this Burton timetable. Because really what we're after is we're after a Manchurian program for psychic warfare, so we can create a budget on one half of the United States of America to basically do what we did with the Hinckleys and all these crazies. It's pretty simple. Basically what we do is we develop an attack and a timetable, and then we have a reactionary policy front where we manipulate the policy in the backdrop. So we have a whole bunch of these going at the same time. We have a big budget for it, and of the money that we spend for this, we get to take the guns away from people. That's what we're doing. That's our job, is to make a safer society. So to us, to invest $6 or $7 million to isolate you and come up with a constant explanation on why this and why that, it's pretty cheap for us. Because in the end, we get what we want. Docility. Docility. The docile American country that gives in. Because by choosing people to make examples out of, to destroy ideology, to destroy symbols by fighting wars with symbols, we get to create what we want, which is an everlasting power. When we choose you, it's specific for this type of conflict. So, anyway, James, you don't really have a choice in the matter because of the way that I'm handling everything here to control you. And since you don't really have a choice in the matter, James, well, the more you fight, the more I'm going to spend money to make sure you don't catch me. Just like all my other ones that I have. Because I have a whole bunch of projects going on. I get lots of money for it. I run a super soldier program through a military intelligence agency. I make millions of dollars finding test subjects that I can control through top secret security violations. And I basically induce the security protocol before I ever go after them. So James, if you try to fight me, I'll use whatever connections there are in your family. And I will force whoever you know in your family to be compliant. Okay, James? And if the state of Colorado ever gets the idea of doing a functional magnetic resonance imaging of your inferior parietal cortex in real time, analyzing any type of damage that's going on with you, well, we couldn't have that.